the day that changed everything. April 25, 1986, began like any other day. Engineers at Chernobyl were conducting a safety test to determine how the plant would handle a power outage. A series of errors and violations of protocol led to an uncontrollable surge in reactor number 4. At 1:23 a.m. on April 26, two massive explosions ripped through the reactor, releasing a lethal dose of radiation into the atmosphere. Firefighters were the first responders, unaware of the invisible danger. They battled the flames with courage, but many paid the ultimate price. One of those heroes was Vasily Ignatenko. His wife, Ludmila, later recalled how he returned home covered in burns. He was taken to a hospital in Moscow, but the radiation poisoning was too severe. Ludmila watched helplessly as he deteriorated before her eyes. She was pregnant at the time, and their baby girl died shortly after birth due to radiation exposure. The evacuation of Pripyat, a city built to house the plant's workers and their families, was home to around 49,000 residents. Life there was considered modern and comfortable by Soviet standards. The residents had no idea they were living next to a ticking time bomb. The day after the explosion, the authorities downplayed the situation. Children played outside as radiation levels soared. It wasn't until 36 hours later that the evacuation order came. Residents were told to take only essentials. They would be back in a few days, but they never returned. Families left behind their homes, memories, and possessions. Photo albums, toys, and clothes still sit where they were last placed. A calendar hangs on a wall, forever marking April 1986. The hasty departure left the town frozen in time. The human cost, the official death toll from the Chernobyl disaster, is widely disputed. Soviet authorities reported 31 immediate deaths, but experts estimate the long-term death toll from cancer and radiation-related illnesses could be in the tens of thousands. The disaster affected not only Ukraine but also Belarus, Russia, and other parts of Europe. Stories of loss and resilience abound. Ivan and Maria Ivanov, an elderly couple, were among those forcibly evacuated. They left behind their home, their garden, and the place where they had raised their children. But their hearts remained in Chernobyl. Decades later, they defied government orders and returned. They found solace in familiar surroundings and rebuilt their lives in an exclusion zone. Their story represents the deep human connection to home. Even in the face of danger, nature's unlikely comeback. While humans were driven out, nature reclaimed Chernobyl. Wildlife flourished in the absence of human interference. Wolves roamed the forest, wild horses galloped through the fields, and rare species like the lynx and European bison thrive. Scientists are fascinated by the ecosystem's resilience. Though radiation still lingers in the soil and water, this ecological revival is a paradox. It shows both nature's tenacity and the devastating impact of human activity. The animals in Chernobyl are not free from radiation's effects, but their survival offers a glimmer of hope in a place defined by tragedy, a place of memory and lessons. Today, the Chernobyl exclusion zone draws thousands of visitors each year. Tourists walk to the abandoned amusement park, visit the hospital where firefighters were treated, and stand before reactor number 4, now encased in a massive steel sarcophagus. It is a pilgrimage site, not for thrill seekers, but for those seeking to understand the magnitude of the disaster and pay their respects to those who suffered. One visitor, Anna Petrov, shared how visiting Chernobyl changed her perspective on life. She had grown up hearing stories of the disaster, but seeing it firsthand brought tears to her eyes. The silence was deafening, the air heavy with history. She left with a renewed appreciation for the fragility of life and the importance of responsible progress. The disaster also reshaped nuclear safety standards worldwide. Governments implemented stricter regulations, and the international community recognized the need for transparency. Chernobyl became a catalyst for change, ensuring that such a tragedy would never happen again. Hope amid the ruins. The story of Chernobyl is not just one of disaster. It is also a story of resilience. Survivors rebuilt their lives from the ashes. Scientists turned the zone into a hub for research. Nature adapted and thrived, and the world learned valuable lessons about the power and peril of nuclear energy. For all its haunting beauty, Chernobyl serves as a mirror reflecting humanity's greatest strengths and weaknesses. It reminds us that while we are capable of great destruction, we are also capable of rebuilding, healing, and finding hope in the darkest of places. As the sun sets over Pripyat, casting long shadows over the empty buildings, the town stands as a silent witness to the past and a beacon for the future.